there's zero part of you and I that sit here and be like, we are the best. We're the best. I mean, I up all the time. There's always times that I play Monday morning quarterback about myself. Like, I could have done this better. I could have done this better. I don't pretend to know everything. I just know that being an doesn't get you very far in life. So knock it off.
Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
Happy New Year! 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 That's Erin.
Or as my mom used to sing, we're happy, we're peppy, we're bursting with love.
No, she did not sing that. When, where, and how. No,
just any of the things. And it's really good to do, like, if, somebody's in a massive fight in your house or shit's going wrong or you're having the Money Pit movie, like, scenes unfold in your house. You just look at each other, your significant other, your sister, your brother, anyone.
Okay, let's do it together.
3, 2, 1. We're happy, we're happy, we're bursting with love.
Okay, we'll practice. We're happy, we're peppy, we're bursting with love.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll finish at the end of the episode with it. I got it. Retention. Got it. Welcome everybody to the Calm Down podcast, the first one of 2023.
Hey, we made it.
You know it's going to be a good year when it ends with my favorite player is Michael Jordan. I know Larry Bird and Michael Jordan probably shared the stage for you in terms of favorite athlete, but it's going to be a great year, guys. I wish all of you happiness and health, and thank you again for listening to this podcast because we still don't even know that anyone listens, but we appreciate you. And
I'll tell you a story about who listens. This guy, Beauty, is bringing my water down
Jarrett,
right now.
Cutie. Happy New Year.
You can't hear her, but Jarrett was with me as we were walking the dog last week, and this 65-year-old neighbor of mine walked out, and he goes, "Calm down." And I said,
Cute.
"Oh my God, calm down." And he goes, "I'm sure this 65-year-old isn't your demo, but I listened to you and I love it." And I said, "Sir, we'll take anyone we can get."
Oh my God, that is so sweet. I love that.
So sweet. Made my day.
I can't thank you guys enough for listening, though.
Yes.
And I want to apologize in advance. I know I said it on the pregame. I just got a spray tan, and I'm not allowed to wash this thing off for 8 hours. So I am looking like Ross from Friends, and my teeth are very white. And this is a whole look we've got going on here.
What's that thing going to smell like after about 5 hours?
I don't want to. Do you know I sleep in the guest room when I get a spray tan? Mm-hmm. I want none of the remnants. And why? I'm sure I've said it before. Why can no one make a spray tan formula that doesn't
that hard?
Smell? We can send people to the moon. We can go up into space in 9 minutes, in less time than it takes to repaint our nails. And we cannot get a spray tan formula that doesn't smell like ash.
It doesn't make sense. There's an iCloud. There's a Bitcoin, crypto, whatever those people were involved with that one guy. But guess what? We can't have nice things.
No, we can't have nice things. And you know what? I want someone to invent this and it doesn't fail like that other thing. You know, the thing. All right, here we go, sister. Holy hell, a lot happened. You were in Tampa for a game that was going to decide the winner of the NFC South inevitably. Like, even if Carolina had won, it set them up most likely to win week 18. How was it? Brady's off to his another year in the playoffs.
Just 432 yards for that guy. And I think the best part of, well, not the best part about it, but the most interesting thing about it, especially if you want to look at the Green Bay Packers as well, is what just happened in Tampa with that offense. I saw your good friend Sarah Walsh down there in her yellow jumpsuit. Romperoni.
That one loves to rent the runway. She is renting the runway, the sidewalk, everything.
I had a Hanes t-shirt on in this one in like full blown, like canary yellow, like just, renting the field. She was walking down it and I was like, I'm in sneakers and a Hanes t-shirt.
She's funny.
Which, by the way, I turned yellow because I had tried to have some sort of spray tan on for my arms because they look so white. But the Bucs offense, they've been saying it all year. Sarah's been saying it all year. I went over my pregame hit with her to see if it sounded stupid. So and she's like, "You're great, but I've been saying that all year. I don't think it's going to come to life." And it came to life. And what have they cracked open maybe in this game with the fact that Mike Evans had 3 touchdowns. Chris Godwin went for over 100 yards as well. So that's super exciting, not for people that are Brady and Bucs haters. And the Green Bay Packers, shit.
Holy hell.
What is happening?
So Mike Evans hadn't scored a touchdown since week 4. Had not scored a touchdown since week 4. Speaking of the number 4, not Brett Favre. He's not available for comment. Where is Brett Favre? 4 weeks ago, we were looking at these Packers that were 4-8, and we were like, hey, start Jordan Love.
I know.
Like, what is happening here? So here we are. You know what this reminds me, everyone? And we can say this because we're the OG bitches in this industry. Don't count the old ones out. Do not count them out.
Don't fucking count those boys out.
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. So while Mike White tries to find some kind of rhythm in his, and I like Mike White, and that's fine. And the Jets are going to be fine. That defense is great. But like, there are a lot of young boys that could take a lot of notes from those older, wily veterans where it's like, it ain't over until the fat lady sings. And guess what? It ain't over. So I was really excited to see. By the way, the Vikings, frauds. Wah, wah. Bored. I'm so bored. You're 12-4. You have 11 games that you've only won by one score. Wah, wah, wah. I'm done with them. Okay. So they showed me absolutely nothing. The Bucks, yay for you guys. The Raiders blow another double-digit lead. Devontae Adams, though. That guy.
Love our guy. Love him.
The freaking catches from this dude.
Love him.
Unfreaking believable. So, yeah, I mean, some of these storylines just really fire me up. I got to tell you.
The people that, listen, I love the young quarterbacks. And I love, thank you. I love the young quarterbacks. I love the new generation that's coming in. Josh Allen couldn't be cuter. Patrick is the best.
Joe Burrow.
To see, Joe Burrow, to see these two old dogs, and I'll say it because Tom and I are the same age. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. And I love, and I knew it. I said to Kevin and Greg a couple of weeks ago, we were texting and watching a Green Bay game, and Aaron, and I say this because he's a good friend, had this shit ass grin about him. And I just texted them and I said, there's something about that smile. He freaking knows. And Kevin was like, yeah, he looks happy. I was like, no, there is just something about this shit ass grin right now.
And good for the defense. Knows. He's got to like that defense all of a sudden decided to show up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. How about Patrick Mahomes yesterday? Patrick Mahomes to Patrick Mahomes. Only he could throw. So he throws a pass. It gets deflected. Gets sent. He catches his own deflected pass and then runs for a first down. This fucking guy. It's so good. Anyway, so exciting as we turn the corner for week 18, the final game of the regular season. Do you know where you're going to be? Or can
anything
you say?
Yeah, I do.
Are you allowed to say?
I'm not disappointed. I think we all
You sound
wanted,
excited.
Yeah. Let me have more coffee. I think we just all were kind of hoping we'd get that Green Bay, Detroit, Aaron Rodgers win you're in. It goes to Sunday night. It is what it is.
Yeah, and Detroit. Hello. Them.
I know. I just think it shows, like, for playoffs, just anything could happen. Cue the Ellie Goulding, whatever song. Anything can happen. Do, 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 ooh, do, do. Like, it's exciting. It's great. I'm pumped.
Brian Daboll, your boy, your guy. You love him. Good for the Giants.
Good
First time making the playoffs since 16, yeah.
Sent that guy a text on the flight, and I just said, congrats, coach. Wrote back in 2 seconds. Thanks, bud. You're the best. Stop it.
I know.
You got to meet this guy. We,
for those of you guys that didn't see the episode where Aaron handed out the Calm Down Podcast Award to Brian Daboll, the head coach, the new head coach of the Giants. The reason I fell in love with him is the story that you told me that he will sit with the grounds crew because his grandfather was a groundskeeper, which brings me to, so we had, now that it's going to be week 18, that means that TNF is done. So Thursday Night Football is over.
Thank you. You kicked ass. I hope you're happy with yourself.
Thank you. I started the season crying and I ended the season doing karaoke and laughing my ass off till 4 a.m. with this group. The reason is because in the arc, the tears at the beginning of the season, and you know it, and went back to what we talked about earlier. It was more, the details matter to me. Yep. And it was a brand new production with so many different moving parts. And I just wanted everything to be perfect.
Put a lot of pressure on yourself. Yep.
As I always do in a lot of things, because I don't want to let anyone down. And so there was a lot of things in the early goings, like any, even though Amazon is the conglomerate that it was new in this live sports space, in the NFL as a property. So there was a lot of things and kinks to work through, which I cannot say thank you enough to that crew and every guy I work with. But what I wanted to say about this, so these guys that I work with, and like they become our family, like especially being on the road, you spend so much time with them.
Holidays, everything.
Richard Sherman, Andrew Whitworth, Tony Gonzalez, and Ryan Fitzpatrick. Let me just tell you something. These cuties and it was led by Richard Sherman, who every week would go into the trucks. Richard Sherman has never done television before.
Yeah.
He didn't even know what a TV truck was. But he made it a point that every single week he would go into the television trucks and he would say thank you to the producers, to the tape ops, to the director.
That means so much.
It meant so much to them. And so the last week of the season, they got everyone together and said thank you to the cameramen, to the audio guys, to everything. And I like wanted to cry. It like makes me even, because guys don't do that. They just show up on set and they think all the shit just happens. And so the fact that they would do that,
awesome.
I said, you know what? These guys are the greatest teammates, because those are the kind of people that you want in your proverbial foxhole, where it's like they will show up for you, but they'll also show up for everybody else to make the thing work. So I just wanted to give a shout out to those guys for thinking about the behind the scenes crew, because they didn't know Adam from Eve, and this thing started, and then for them to just have the foresight to do it. So yes, so bringing it back full circle to Dayball, I just love that he is that kind of person. So
yeah, you're going to get to meet him, and I can't wait. You're going to be best friends with him too. And I want to say this about your crew, because I know obviously the backstory with a lot of it, and you guys went in not really knowing each other. No, but I cry to you every week. It's just because we care so much and we want to do a good job and all of that. But a lot of people, including you, didn't know how this group would mesh or do. A lot of these guys, and I think Tony was the only one that really had done any television. You guys really just, I'm trying to think of the word. I told you this. There were a couple of post games that I was like, this is really big. This is really big. And I felt that way, especially with the Jets one, where he took Zach Wilson out. You knew it was going to be a big story. And I was like, I got to turn this on. I got to listen to what they're saying. I want to hear what the boys are saying. And it was awesome. There's a couple others that I had told you about, but that one just sticks out in my head. But you guys really came into form. Is that what I was looking for? That's not what I'm looking for.
Rounded into form.
Rounded into form. You just became like a great team, came into your own. There it is.
Thank you.
You're helping me out like a good host that you are. And it's so exciting, because think about it. I mean, you guys could have struck out and not done well. And there could have been one piece that didn't work out and we got to fill this in. But really everybody just like came together, and it was just, I'm just so excited for you guys. I'm excited for next year to see what you do. You really grew a lot. I told you during the hard times, I'm like, I'm jealous because you're now going to turn into this host that you've dealt with so much, and you're going to be untouchable. So,
I love you.
So proud of you.
Thank you for listening and walking me through that. And I feel, having done this like you have for a long time, it's awesome. It's great. Opportunities you always hope that new opportunities come about, but very rarely do those ones happen. And I just feel very grateful for that. But even bigger than the actual stage and the opportunity was just those relationships and getting to, what I already knew about them as football players was just further paid forward with them as humans. So it was awesome, and thank you for being supportive along the way.
Do you have a dream award? From your interview this week, or am I speaking like out of turn here? Because you had never met Fred Warner before, so I didn't know if you needed to hand out a calm down dream award to him, because he's one of my dreams.
I had, yes, and I had never interviewed him before. And I told you I was interviewing him, and you were telling me what a great guy he was, how much respect he has by everyone in this league and anyone that really watches that All 22. So All 22 is what the players watch. It's the aerial view. It's like the real nerd football of what they get. And anybody that has access to that knows that.
And our voices aren't on it, right? What's the All 22?
All 22 is just the internal feed that they have of the game. So it's like what their film studies based off of, like all of this stuff. Like, coaches film, players film. So anyone that watches that's like, this dude's fucking beast, because think about it. He's just flying around. You're like, who's this guy around here? Yeah. So anyways, and so I sat down with him again, New Year's Eve. These guys have to play the next day. And I always want to say thank you to the coach, to the player, to anyone that takes time. Look, I get it. It could be quote unquote part of your job, but it doesn't have to. They can say no. And the fact that they take time out and sit down and are so, great about it. Really, really, I just have to say thank you to them for that, because it doesn't go unnoticed that they take time out of what is already a jam-packed schedule. Those guys get to their bus pulls up, they get there, he barely gets to drop his stuff off, sit with me for 25 minutes, and then go into your meetings and everything else. So without going on a further tangent, thank you to players and coaches for taking the time to speak to networks for an interview that you don't always have to do. So he was lovely and so fun, and I can see why everyone respects him on both sides of the ball.
Yep. And with that leads me to one of the things I texted you and Ryan about, and feel free to fill in the blanks with this. I need to get this off my chest and
Do it, girl.
Say it with your chest. There have been a few instances or circumstances lately and also during the year that I find myself getting on the phone with athletes after they happen. And I just say to them, I'm sorry that this happened. And I also want to do exactly what Charissa just did. Say, thank you so much for your time. I always say thank you. I always tell them I appreciate them. I'm also very I use love very easily. I'm like, love you so much.
No,
not meaning I'm in love with you, but
No.
I appreciate you. I love you for giving your time. I had a long chat with my dad when he was in town. My dad has been in the industry forever. I'm embarrassed to not even know the numbers. Ryan, can you look up my dad, Stevie Andrews, right now? Multiple
and also
Emmy
the number
winner.
of
Tell me how
Emmys
long.
that he's won.
Yeah.
Won. I can't keep track of those.
We were going over some things that have happened within the media. And my dad was saying this would be great to do. My dad's like, I would love to hold a class for colleges to say, this is not what you do. I know Chris said that a lot of women who are in college or starting out in the industry listen to our podcast. I'm very grateful of that. They have told me that wherever I go, I know you get that a lot as well. Yep. Guys, listen to your Auntie Erin here. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice.
Cutie.
Couple things. You don't have to be an asshole. How about this? Stop worrying about trying to make a name for yourself or be clickbait with these questions that tie these guys down or put them in a binder. You want to be the person in the press conference. Don't do that. They're not animals. They're not pieces of meat. Yes, I realize they are the story. And like Charissa said, they are supposed to give us times of day. They are supposed to help us out. Listen, I have guys that run right past me on the field, even if they're my good friend. And I'm like, hello? You just threw for 432 yards. Why are you running past me? Shit is going on in their lives. They've got stuff going on that they'll text you about later and apologize. Here's the thing, okay? They are human. And I'm so frustrated with some of the shit I'm seeing. I know people out there, they want to make a name for themselves, reporters, and I know they want to kind of stick out, but you don't stick out. You do stick out in a really bad way when you treat these guys like shit. You can't do it. There are a lot of things I need to work on. I will say even yesterday with my Mike Evans interview, I sounded way too excited. I was going way too fast. I was yelling. I think because I was so fucking excited for Mike Evans. He had 3 touchdowns.
You're
so cute. Huge game. Bucs offense is back. It was fun. And I needed to pee. Side note. But there are a lot of things I need to work on with my job on that. The one thing I am very proud of what I do is I always say, how's your family? Was on with Tristan Wirfs the other day. He had a great story when he was drafted, taking his mom down the red carpet of his house right before the draft. How's your mom doing? Treat them like individuals. It will take you so far and they will remember that than the bullshit, rude ass questions because you need to write your little bit on a blog or your hit for some network that you're on. Don't treat them like shit. It's not going to help you. Because guess what? I know you're not a professional athlete, but things go on in your job where you get treated like crap and you don't like the feeling and you remember it too. I just have been so frustrated lately with the way some of these people have gone about these guys. And I'm sensitive about it because I was talking to a few guys about it yesterday in Tampa. I don't think it sets us back, but it doesn't help us in any shape or form when people behave this way towards athletes. I just don't get it. I'm really annoyed by it lately. Thoughts, questions, concerns?
Well,
I'm getting a heat rash.
Nope. Because, okay, so I was writing down while you were talking because I wanted to remember these points. Number one, I love that you care that much for it to give you a rash, for you to feel like you have to. It's not a tangent. It's not a rant. It's your feelings, and you have earned the right to say, first of all, it's our damn podcast, so we can say whatever the hell you want. But also, you have earned the right in this industry as the one of the women who have done it at the highest level for a very long time to say how you feel about this. You have incredible relationships with a vast percentage of individuals and players in this league, and you're very well liked and very well respected. So when this is what I wrote down. They want to be the star. I saw this shit all the time in entertainment.
I'm sick of it.
I'm sorry. And I don't say like everyone doesn't need to just go to their respective place in life. But guess what? You're on the other side of the rope, sweetheart.
You are.
They are the star. They are. This is what I saw all the time in entertainment, where the interviewer wanted to be the subject.
Yes.
Guess what? You're standing behind this rope for a reason. You're interviewing them. So that's fine. It's your job to ask hard-hitting questions, to get to the bottom of the story. If you want to be an investigative reporter, then be that. This is not that. This is covering sports and entertainment. And I get it. And I fall victim. I don't always ask the hardest questions because I don't want to. I don't want to like dig into some deep, like whatever. Like I'll ask questions that I think will elicit the best interview. And if I really wanted to like do a gotcha moment, then I would get into the investigative journalist portion of this program. But yes, I'm with you 100% on that. But also, I feel like there's this sense where it's like we got to do gotcha moments. Even with Ron Rivera on the podium yesterday, where someone's like made this big deal of like he didn't know if he'd be eliminated. I understand that like yes, they should have like a pulse on the different scenarios, and I get it. But like I've never been a head coach. Do you know how much shit they have to deal with? Like they can also have someone tell them. Do you think that the president of the United States knows every detail about every single department? Like no, that's why you have guys underneath you, and you can sit there and be like, oh, Rivera should have known. But why are we now going to make it a thing like, oh, he's an idiot? The only thing I disagree with Ron Rivera on is Carson Wentz. Why the hell did we put him back out there? Taylor Heineke earned the right to stay out there, and Carson Wentz showed us exactly who Carson Wentz was, is that he needs to continue to work on his game, okay? But I love you. At that point, it's just this thing of like, we're in this cancel culture, gotcha media, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm with you. When I sat down, bring it back to the Fred Warner thing, I said, what is it that you love most about like this regime, like the Kyle Shanahans, the D'Amico Ryans, the Robert Saleh when he was there and then left and went to the Jets?
Love
he goes,
D'Amico.
They always ask about my family. They care about us as human beings. And what do you do? What happens when you care about someone as a human being? You will stand on the wall for them. You will go to bat for them. Insert analogy here. It's like you become invested in them. And that's the same way that I feel it is at Fox. They're my family. Think about the shit that I've went through and they've been there for us. The same thing for you. And we've worked at other companies where they have not treated us the same way. So treat people like humans, be kind. And I am not standing up here and acting like I'm fucking Mother Teresa because I'm sure along the way I've been an asshole. And if I have been an asshole to you, then I apologize. But I am with you in that the interviewer doesn't need to be the star. And guess what? If you're that great, people will find out. You don't have to tell them, is my dad's like expression in life. If you're a really good interviewer, by the way, rest in peace to the great Barbara Walters. She asked hard questions, but she still did it in a respectful manner and became a legend in this business that we can all look up to. So, yeah.
Amen, sister.
I'm still trying to drink my green juice.
I'm trying to get my heat rash out. I have a lot to say and I'm passionate about it. I agree with you. I feel like a lot of these people that are kind of giving me this heat rash lately, they want to be the story instead of the guys. And I don't think they even care about the player or the coach's answers. They just want to be known as the person that is asking it. Mm-hmm. Prime example, I'll say this. For whatever reason, we're preparing last week for this Carolina Bucks game, and winning you're in for the Bucks. Obviously, it was a big story. If Brady's going to make it to the playoffs, he's sitting there talking about the offense, talking about what this game means. And somebody asked him in the middle of the press conference, "When are you going to know it's time to retire?" Not this week. Yep. We're talking about Carolina. Why are you doing that? What are we doing? It just annoys me. The Todd Bowles question yesterday, it was a very big deal going into halftime that he settled for a field goal on 4th and 1 instead of when the offense had the momentum. And I was actually texting my dad about it. I'm like, I have to ask why he did it. And my dad said, yes. And I said, if he says it's for the points, do I then say, well, yeah, but you had all the momentum? And my dad said, you're not going to get in a debate with a coach at halftime. Yeah. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. What he says is the answer to my question.
There you go.
Move on for the rest of the game. I just don't understand why people have to fight these guys. I'm not saying don't ask the hard questions, but I also think very much in real life, it's about the way you go about it. Your tone and all that. So anywho, for all of you out there starting it out, I do think having a good relationship with these athletes are a big deal. Meant a lot to me a couple weeks ago. Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show and he just talked about the crew that we had with Joe and Troy. And he said, the conversations that the three of us would have with him was a lot of times just about life and not even the game. And he goes, those were some of my best memories of working with those three. I think that goes a long way with people. And so you guys starting out, I'm not saying you're going to walk up to Tom Brady and be like, hey, how's your family? But just don't be an asshole. That's just my own thing. Like, treat them like you would one of your friends or your family members and be, a human being.
Well, this was always my thing. And I think I've told this story before, and it's not to break my arm.
Where's
patting
the
myself
Tylenol?
on the patting myself on the back. But it was in entertainment. We had these agenda questions all the time. And guess what? Entertainment is based on who's dating who's getting a divorce, the personal life. And I get that. I mean, there's a lot of, now as a consumer of it, I understand that like you have to ask these. I just was so uncomfortable with it. But Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck were getting a divorce. And I had to interview her because she was in a movie and she was coming down the line. And I was like, fuck. Because of course, the first question is about her divorce. So I just put the microphone behind my back and I looked at her and I said, they are going to make me ask these questions. I do not want to ask these questions. I am so sorry for what you're going through. As someone who's been divorced, I wouldn't want to be asked these questions. I said, so I'm going to try to do it in the best way that I can. She goes, thank you. So then I asked her a couple of questions. She answered as classy as she is, like one of the classiest women.
Yeah.
And then the interview was over and she started to walk away and then she came back and she grabbed my arm and she said, thank you for doing it like that. And I was like, so what did it take? 2 seconds to just be like, hey, and I get like, there's different ways to approach it. And I also love one thing I wrote down.
That's a great way.
Down that when you were on your rant is I love that you care enough to critique yourself. Like there's zero part of you and I that sit here and be like, we are the best. We're the best. I mean, I fuck shit up all the time. There's always times that I play Monday morning quarterback about myself. Like I could have done this better. I could have done this better. But I would hope, and again, bringing it back to anyone that listens to this podcast that's a aspiring broadcaster or maybe even a broadcaster, if you got tips and tricks, I'll take them all. But I don't pretend to know everything. I just know that being an asshole doesn't get you very far in life. So knock it off.
And my final thing I'll say is the way you handled Jennifer Garner is a lot of ways I have to handle guys when I do sit downs with them. I will say to them, hey, I got to ask you about this. I'm giving you a heads up. Instead of being like right in their face with the microphone and like, it goes a long way if you go about it that way. Just a credit to my dad. He worked in the industry for 35 years. His first job in broadcasting was 1973. 6 Emmys for that homie.
Oh,
what a cat.
He's the Tom Brady of broadcasting right there with all those Emmys. That little sweetheart. All right. Well, our TED Talk on broadcasting is over.
Sorry, I had to get it off my chest.
No,
now it's all on my neck.
I'm right there with you, sister. And I love that you care enough about people more than anything. That's my theme of this podcast for between Sherman and you and whatnot. But yeah, it's a new year. We have our own different things that we want to work on, but I'm really excited. I love a fresh start. I think there's a lot of times in my life where I'm like, like to push that reset button. I'll tell you what I don't like to do though. And again, I feel very lucky and fortunate to be a homeowner because it is, as I mentioned in our pregame, one of the great questions was asked, like, what did I spend my money on when I first got paid? A house. And being a homeowner is a great sense of pride. There's this scene in Far and Away with not Kevin Costner, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, one of their very early movies
you
together.
Just went back to Blockbuster for that one, sister.
Yeah, I did. You know what? And this is not even DVD Blockbuster. This is VHS Blockbuster. But there is a scene in it, and Tom Cruise, and he like sticks the stick in the ground, and it signifies like that's their land, like it matters. And if it's this little plot of land and you're in this big world that we can call our own, it's wonderful. But I'm going to tell you what little plot of land I'm upset with is the leaking of the roof. It rains 3 days in LA and I got Niagara Falls in the living room. And I have that moment because again, like I'm not married. Not that I have to be married, but like anything that goes wrong in my house, I'm fixing it. Like I don't get to just be like, honey, the honey-do list. The honey-do list is me. The cantaloupe, honeydew, pineapple, and strawberries is all me. So I'm like, I have to now
Can I tell you, when you are married in my house, that doesn't mean we know how to fix it either. Anyways, continue.
But at least you can pass off the to-do list. So
true.
Needless to say, I have spent the first few days of the new year doing home maintenance stuff. So I'm really not into that. And then I went to this deep dive haven't started watching Fixer Upper with Chip and Joanna, and I need that Chip with the tool belt and the like fix the roof situation. But anyways, that's where I'm at.
There's got to be a dating app for that. Hey, I'm looking for
Oh my God, right? They have like farmers only. They got J-Date.
Yeah.
Like, poor Steve's probably listening to this and he's like, did we just break up? Steve, you're great. Grab a tool belt and fix the roof if you next time you come over, a friend.
Bring over your tools.
I'll retool you.
I'll retool you. Okay,
he worked
so
really hard,
that.
Grandpa. So yeah, so I've got a list of things that I need to fix, which I'm not excited about, but I'm very much looking forward to a new slate for the new year. And so I would love if you guys are listening for our pregame next week, any New Year's resolutions that you have or fun things you do for the new year, because I like a reset. Do you make a list of resolutions or no?
I have a fantastic next door neighbor that's very spiritual and I love her so much, Nicole.
Sweet.
She texted me New Year's Eve and just said, hey, I would write out a bunch of intentions or maybe blessings and how you want to get those and like maybe prepare your mind. So as I was in Tampa trying to go to bed at 11, I think 20 at night, the only reason why I know this, I'll tell you in a second. I wrote down a bunch of my intentions on the hotel pad and I think I left it there. So the cleaning service, I guess, got my intentions. Hopefully it works out for them. But mine had a lot to do with being calm, enjoying the moment.
Calm down.
And like it had a lot to do with patience. So it already didn't work out after day one with my chest pains, but that's fine. And my heat rash, it's fine. But
you're cognizant of it. Doesn't mean we're going to be able to fix it overnight. It means that it's something that we're intentionally trying to fix. Okay, good. I think this is good for you. You got a big year.
Yeah.
We're excited about a lot of things. Mm-hmm.
What did you do New Year's Eve? Because I went to bed at about 11:45. I sent out like my text to my parents and my husband, and I went to bed, took a little sleeping pill, went the nights, and then Happy New Year. Like the fireworks right outside our hotel sounded like they were ricocheting off my window. So I was up till like about 12:30.
Girl, I was in Las Vegas for the aforementioned sweet Fred Warner interview. So I got back on Friday morning from Nashville after our wrap-up party where we had a time. Karaoke, the whole get-along gang. So much fun. Fitz and I dressed up with cowboy outfits, like the whole thing.
He's so great.
He's so great. So then I get home Friday, Saturday, went to Las Vegas, which normally, it's not your thing. It's my thing. I'm a Vegas gal. You and I are going next week or this week.
Yeah.
Shit, is it already this week?
Oh, yeah.
And it's still for work. So I can't get Erin to really like break out of the show yet. But we had fun last time we were in Vegas, even for a minute.
So much fun. And I feel like we'll have to figure out a show too after football to go to. Maybe have a night with Kelly. Let's go. Then let's figure it out. Let's take Kelly and let's go.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. So yeah, so I was in Vegas. Vegas is the place to be when you want to go through TSA, because on New Year's Eve, ain't no one in the TSA line. I didn't even need pre-check that day. That's what my resolution is going to be. TSA pre-check.
Write it down.
Pre-check.
Blessings, intentions, all of them.
I'm the one person going into Las Vegas on New Year's Eve and leaving on the same day. No one's in the TSA. And so I got home straight to bed because my call time was 4 a.m. the next day for Fox. So there was no ringing in the new year. I'll tell you what, though. Steve might not be able to fix the roof, but he did do a great job breastfeeding the dogs because the fireworks were going off all night long. Lionel Richie, that residency is over in Vegas, but all night the fireworks were going off, and I looked at him and I was like, yo, would you mind helping me out with this? Because dogs freak out. And I was like, I have got to get a good night's sleep. So I didn't do anything exciting on New Year's Eve, but there's going to be plenty of time for celebration. And that means you and I postseason vacays. I think we're all out of time. But if you guys have any more questions, comments, or concerns about how to be a broadcaster, ask someone else.
Sorry for the tangent, you guys.
No,
it's just something I feel passionate about. And I'm just like, listen, I agree with Chris. I'm not perfect in any of this. But one thing you have to do is just treat these guys with respect.
What are you saying sorry for? Trying to say that you're a good person and not to be an asshole? I think we're off to a good start. Our patience is a virtue. I'm going to be a patient in the hospital if I don't get this spray tan washed off.
I need to go to the hospital.
I'm going to have my own rash
and get this neck rash down. I've got the Commanders this weekend. I can't have this rash.
Rivera, you're not in the playoffs. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.